Furby and Hines argue that filmmaking embodies a form of practical magic, creating an immersive experience that captivates the viewers. They explain how a fantasy story depends on a self-coherent story world, a concept vividly illustrated in the epic fantasy world of Dune. Dune fits well into Brian Adderby's definition of epic fantasy, capturing the essence of the genre through its vast, sweeping narrative that spans multiple planets and deals with universal themes. The novel transcends local or individual concerns, focusing instead on a grand interstellar struggle involving politics, religion, and ecology, all of which impact the entire universe of the story, fitting the notion that epic fantasy thinks globally. Its protagonist is the world of Arrakis, or Dune itself plays a central role in influencing the events and the characters profoundly. While the limits of this world in the book extend only to the limits of the author Frank Herbert's imagination, the film adaptations of the story are constrained by the ability of the available technology to visualize this expansive world. A comparison of the adaptations of Dune in 1984 and 2021 highlights the evolution of technology and its impact on world building, showcasing how technology and creation are intertwined. The spectacle and scale of special effects play a crucial role in building the epic fantasy world seen in Dune. However, technology often limits the extent to which these effects are believable. Filmmaking is a form of practical magic, and a big part of magic is the mystery of how a trick is done. The viewer knows they're being fooled, but the allure lies in the mystery of how the trick is performed. As more films use the same tricks, the viewer becomes more aware of how the trick is done, leading to a loss of this magic. This is evident in Dune, which uses entirely practical effects that have been established for decades, such as forced perspective, miniatures, matte paintings, and puppets. However, the film tried to recapture the sense of mystery through the emulation of the latest trick on the block, CGI. With Tron released just a couple of years earlier as the first film to use CGI as its major selling point, Tron saw major success, being Disney's highest grossing film for 5 years. Banking on the success, we see clear inspiration in Dune, particularly in the fight scene, which uses similar blocky, glossy geometry. Interestingly, the effects seen in Dune is not actually CGI as it is in Tron, but hand animated to fool the viewers into thinking it is, banking on the audience's newfound fascination with this new and mysterious trick. Scholar Sheen Cubbett draws a parallel between this relationship and the idea of trompe-l'oeil in Baroque painting, where the aim is not to trick, but to be discovered in the act of trickery. There is an understanding between the viewer and the filmmaker that what is shown is not real. The filmmakers try to use this to their advantage, making the act of creation an act of spectacle in itself. Though in the case of the original Dune, while the technical challenge of creating the effect was impressive, taking 9 months to animate this one shot alone, the film fell flat both critically and commercially. The CGI-esque sequence in the fight scene obscures the choreography and makes the fight hard to follow. This is a problem that can be seen throughout the film as a whole, where the often absurd imagery and the convoluted storyline confuses and alienates the viewer, making it hard for them to immerse themselves in the world. Greg Tuck suggests that while special effects have the capacity to create images of immense scale and complexity, they often do not truly engage the viewer because they emphasize the sheer size of spectacle over the quality of the film's emotional or intellectual impact. Adding to this, the complexity of the world 80s Dune was trying to convey, while not impossible to depict with the technology of the time, was limited by the immense cost of practical effects. We see this in the compromises the film often makes. This brings us to 2021 and the release of Dune Part 1. Measured on box office success alone, the more contemporary Dune blows its 1984 counterpart out of the water. While both films had almost identical budgets, Dune 2021 was created in a time where special effects, thanks to the major advancements of computer-generated imagery, are astronomically cheaper to execute, making the scale of the fantastical worlds shown almost comparable in possibilities to the worlds of literature the films are born of. However, this boundless creativity has not always translated to more successful films. We can see this in the marketing campaigns of many contemporary blockbusters, which try desperately to distance themselves from CGI and often egregiously emphasize the use of practical effects. There is a sense, as there was in 1984, where the spectacle of creation is lost. The audience understands that CGI allows for anything to be done, taking away from the impressiveness in creation. Jean Bouliard describes this as a death of reality, replacing real-world reference with self-replicating codes, creating a hyper-reality. We see this in CGI today, where fully digital worlds are unconstrained by the limits of the real world, with impossible lighting and camera moves taking the viewer away from immersion. It is in combating this problem with hyper-reality that Dune 2021 is particularly innovative. While it relies on CGI just as much as its contemporaries, it approaches it in a different way, emphasizing maintaining a real-world reference. Lighting is motivated, physics are based on extensive real-world reference, and the camera moves in ways that are grounded. The film, through its basis in this reference, creates an increasing feeling of immersion and realism with a technical proficiency and efficiency that was not available in 1984.
Give me an A.